ownership. In 2004, a U.S. poll done by the Gallup Leadership Institute found that only 17% of followers agree or strongly agree that their leader makes them feel like an owner. And this is a big deal because there are huge benefits to followers feeling like they're an owner, like they're a part of this place. And we'll get to that later in the presentation. So let's focus on ownership. Another reason why it's a big deal is because it fulfills three basic human needs. The first one is that we have a basic need of wanting to have a sense of place or belonging. You know, people naturally attach themselves to an object in a way that it becomes home. You know, one of the ways we do this could be just our job. It could be the people we work with at our workplace, or it also could just be the industry that we work in, that is where we belong. You know, one of the ways West Point creates a sense of belonging in their new cadets is when they bring new cadets in, they don't give them any leadership responsibility. Instead, they make them focus on learning the values and traditions of West Point, of what makes West Point great. And as those new cadets begin to embody those values and traditions, then the leaders of West Point give those new cadets leadership responsibility little by little to kind of continue to build those values and traditions in them, and so that to where it becomes a part of who they are, their DNA, if you will. So is your sense of belonging. The second thing that we have a desire for is a sense of self, our self-identity. And one of the ways we do that is we attach ourselves to groups of people and or possessions, and they act as symbols for our identity. You know, one of the first things is when I was in middle school, the Old Navy fleece, like those like pullovers, they came out. And I don't know where you live, but me being in like rural small town of Indiana, it was like a big deal when people started getting those. And so there was kind of it created this schism between the in crowd and the out crowd. If you had the fleece, you were part of the in crowd. If you didn't have one, you were at the out crowd. That was like the thing that people wanted to buy. Kind of like all kids want Hatchimals this, Christmas season, little ones, and if you don't have one, I'm sorry. But that's kind of one of the things that created a symbol. And another thing, being in ministry that I've noticed is, especially if you're a male in ministry, that you specifically are in student ministry or you're a worship pastor, to be a hip, cool student pastor or worship pastor, you should wear plaid and skinny jeans. To which I actually don't wear skinny jeans, so I'm not hip or cool, so I deal with that in other ways, So anyway, let's move on. I digress. So the third thing is a sense of efficacy, or just a sense of self-confidence or confidence in what you do creates ownership. It's the freedom to control one's actions concerning a task, process, and procedure. One of the ways to do that, an example is when you kind of have this idea that I have this, I can do this job, I can do this task. One of the ways is in the master's program that we're in currently now, through the professors encouraging us or saying, hey, you did this well, or hey, you could do this. That's a way to kind of bolster our confidence. Another way that we do this in the master's program is that we see each other's work. We see each other like doing things that we then recognize and say, I can do those. That's something I could do. What they're doing, how they write, I can do the same thing. And so it helps build our confidence. And so those are the three things that really help create ownership: sense of place, a sense of self, and sense of efficacy. All right, let's move on to the next slide.